Film Club.
The older the wine, the more decadent the wine. It tends to be especially French wine. The more vinegary it tastes.
And vinegar is a good thing for wine.
Well, to some people, I think it tastes like shit. Don't you? Well, you don't drink wine, but
I hate it.
The common Western tongue. Actually, no, I should not say that. The common. I'm only trying to go me in, but I'll tell you anyway.
Western palate.
No. All right. The unpretentious common palate is that the older wine, the more vinegary, is more nasty.
Thank you very much for joining us, episode of Film Club. I'm one your host, Andy Harrison. To my right, as always, it's the vinegary, nasty Andy Dalton.
Dom Perignon, champagne, for example.
Every single week in Film Club, we invite you along to watch a film with us. We dive into some cinema's best before coming back here to talk it out. Andy, what are we here to talk out this week?
Wine distilling.
Actually, there's a point in this film where I think I'd rather be talking about wine distilling.
Mad Max.
What's Mad Max all about?
Mad Max is about a guy that works for the new Australian police force or something. I don't know what they're actually called. And there's a gang that steal cars. They go and fight them on the roads and race them. Then this motorbike gang seem to try and annoy and kill and potentially rape people. The police force come and try to intercept. One of the members ends up getting burned and potentially dies.
Goose.
Then Goose-Eye. Then the Mad Max, you start to become mad because it's all a bit shit and everything's up in the air and it's like all a bit violent. He's like, nah.
He quits.
Well, he kind of quits. He's like, have some holiday, make sure how you feel. Anyway, he goes away. Then the motorbike gang have a vengeance against him, Max, and go for his family. And then his kiddo dies. His wife kind of dies, or is in hospital, dies.
Loses her arm.
Is that what it is?
They say. I'm sure they say that she's lost her arm.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and he goes mad. Hence Mad Max. Then he chases after him in a super oomphed up car.
Oof.
And he kills him. It wasn't as good as I thought.
I hate this film so much. I just hate it. I hate it. So we watched this. The intention was, I originally watched this when I was really getting into like the whole world of Fallout and stuff like that. Big fan. I thought.
What's his name before?
Yeah. Everyone always credits Mad Max as a big influence on Fallout, particularly the original Fallout 1 and 2. And there's other stuff, the boy with the dog and all that. But this was one of those franchises. And then I watched it just after Fury Road came out because everyone was raving about how great Fury Road was. And I was aware there's Mad Max. And I think there's Mad Max Road Warrior. And it turns out the third one as well, Beyond Thunderdome.
So we'll watch that as well.
So bear in mind, so for anyone who's using you this week, we're going through all four of these. And I was watching Mad Max, and you know what? I was looking forward to it. I was like, this is cool. I'm going to experience this franchise, which, like, it's got a huge cult following, and I've never watched it before. I've never watched a single one of these. This is going to be awesome. I was bored to fucking
I was bored.
tears. I hate this film.
It was... Even the end, where it was starting to build up a bit, it was climactic. There was parts, it was just... No... There are parts salvageable from this film, right? Do you want to just jump into that?
Yeah, so I do want to talk right at the beginning because it's got a very distinct opening. And I think that the opening actually summarizes a lot of the film quite well. What they try and do is they try and give Max this sort of dramatic entrance. And the problem is, they really, really, really muddle performances, tone, world building, character, editing, audio design.
I wouldn't say audio design as much.
So
it's one of the better things about the film.
It's definitely better, but the thing that I hate in the audio design for this is the first 15 minutes of this film
with the car
have
chase.
A constant radio on in the background. And it hurts my head. There's this constant chattering all the time in the background, just constantly
that woman
from the radio.
Going,
It's like you listen to a police scanner sort of thing. It's like that sort of radio.
Okay, so
and it's a great sound. The sound is great, but for 15 minutes, I didn't need to hear it for constantly in the background.
To contrast this, check out Drive, the intro to Drive, one of the best intros of any film. Police scanners on there, but it's also overlapped with a few other sounds. That's how you do it. Mad Max isn't how you do it. But the other parts of the audio in Mad Max is really good.
Now, what they do manage to achieve in that opening is they manage to kind of give Max that 80s action hero intro a little bit, where he's a little bit mysterious, he's a little bit badass, you call in.
I was a bit confused as to, because first and foremost, that does not look like Mel Gibson. Like, fair play, he's very young. He's very young.
He was basically an unknown actor.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Honestly, so young, right? But because it was like quite a few of them, and there was a guy running away, I was like, well, hold on, who's Mad and who's Max? Then as he comes forward with his hair, I'm thinking, okay, well, that's the one on the DVD cover, so I assume it's him. Not really that much of a dramatic intro for him, though.
No, like that's what I mean. I think they really screw up. That's why I don't like the audio design. That's why I don't like the editing, because you build those moments, those intros with audio, with music, and with editing, and they just kind of flop it a little bit. And to be fair, obviously I just referred to it as an 80s action hero entrance, and this is 79. So this is actually the precursor to kind of that 80s action cheesy hero sort of thing. It's like, to be fair, it's one of those trailblazers in that respect. But my God, is it a messy, messy trailblazer? And you have to kind of give it its due, right? For a long time, this was the highest grossing film in the world.
What?
And it's because it was made on a teeny tiny budget, 400k.
400,000 Australian dollars, which I checked it out, equates to, I think it's $2 million US dollars nowadays. American. Fucking hell, Australian. 2 million Australian dollars nowadays, which equates to 1.1 quid. Sterling, pounds.
1.1 pounds.
Yeah, 1.1 million.
Wow, that's a conversion.
1.1 million pounds. Which is phenomenal, considering what they've achieved in terms of the practical part of the film.
Exactly. Like, isn't that the best bit of the film?
Yeah,
it's like all those practical car chases and the stunts they pull off are amazing. And on the budget they were working with, that's absolutely fantastic.
How do you do that? Seriously, that's
stunning.
So fucking impressive.
Stunning. But the context that's wrapped around that stuff is near nonsensical, and it's do you know what this feels like? This feels like a film that was written by stuntmen.
Okay.
It feels like a film was written by stuntmen, and they're like this will be really cool, and this set piece will be really cool, and this set piece will be really cool. How do we connect him? He's a police officer, and he's got a wife and a kid, and they get murdered, and that'll do.
There are other parts to salvage from this film, right?
Hit me.
So the sound, yes, okay, I'll give you that about the start, the radio chatter and stuff like that. To actually achieve the sound design with all the effects that they had and put everything together, yeah, it was really well played. But what really struck me, and I hope it struck you as well, is the music of this film by a Brian May, who I thought was Queen's guitarist. It turns out it was a different Brian May. Yeah, that was fucking well played. That was phenomenal. I thoroughly enjoyed that, especially towards the end. It's all building, and it's just like music running, and I'm like, yeah, fucking right, man. I'm getting right into this. So
the music itself is a good soundtrack.
Exceptionally helped. No, but it really helped me attach to this film, even though I wasn't really attached to it.
I think it helps a lot of people. I think that genuinely might be one of the reasons it did so well.
I really hope so, because Brian May really needs to be credited there as one of the top guys of this film. There was something else I was going to say about this film as well, but I mean, just there's parts. I mean, I'll come back to what I thought was good, but there's a couple of parts, inconsistencies I didn't particularly like, and one of the worst parts for me was people getting run over by motorbikes. Like,
the physics of it is baffling, because that's not how getting hit by a motorbike works.
I had a motorbike, right, and I've crashed it a few times, and I've crashed it on smaller things than I was shit at riding, don't get me wrong, but smaller things than a human in the road, right? They would not be able to run a human over and then just carry on.
And just ride off.
No. I mean, don't get me wrong, accidents can happen with motorbikes, and it can still go on, but to do it that consistently and that, like, without even like that, nah, no chance. I mean, there could be a fucking twig in the middle of the road. Deer, one of the biggest causes of motorbike accidents by cars. Yeah? Deer runs out in front of you. I know it's a bit different to human, a bit bigger. My point is, they decimate people. They decimate them, right? So a human being in the middle of the road would fucking knock someone out, knock them off the bike, not ride off in the distance. That really fucked me off. And
it's two. It's
the kiddo and
the woman and the kid.
Yeah.
And why? Like, why do you kill his kid but you leave his wife alive.
I think, yeah, but
What
I think
narrative purpose did that serve?
well, it's worse, isn't it? To kill the kids and have the mother survive means that he's distraught, his mother's in the ICU or whatever. And it's a bit like, oh shit. Would you rather the kid survived and his mother died? He's like, I'm going to look after this kid and try and set a good example. Kid dies, he's only thinking to the future.
Why don't they both die?
Yeah, but I know there wasn't meant to be I agree. I know it's meant to be a thing. She could die, we don't know, but I know it's meant to be a thing for they didn't know about the second film being released.
Don't give them credit and say they're planning ahead for anything, because they are not.
Yeah, okay, fair play. Right, okay. Right, I'll give it, yeah, you're right. But this is why I'm looking forward to the next one.
I'm still, even regardless of all this, I'm holding out hope for this next one, because
it's supposed to be,
everyone says the second one is the best one.
Yeah.
That Road Warrior is like where Mad Max becomes Mad Max.
I hope, yeah, exactly, because there's nothing about this film made him mad.
Yeah, I'm not taking his name so literally as you.
No, but I am. But it's Mad Max. Why is he called Mad? Why?
Everything I've heard about Mad Max, kind of tangentially from other people, is about like how it's this really cool post-apocalyptic world, and there's different interpretation on how.
It's not really post-apocalyptic, is it?
Exactly. So yeah, there's that kind of letdown.
But it's one of the first. Yeah. Okay. So it goes two ways. It is 1979. It was brought out. So our perception of post-apocalyptic could well have been influenced off this film. So it could have got more apocalyptic. It would be more trashy. I mean, look at something like what's that one with what's his name?
Good job.
Where he's blind and he's got
Book of Eli.
Yeah, the Book of Eli. Look at something like that. This horrible society just living off the dregs, like the outback, like Australian outback, something like that. For example, Fallout. Look at that. I know it's a bit different kind of vibe.
So this definitely lays the groundwork for a lot of that sort of
stuff.
It's
great. I mean, look at The Road, for example.
I also feel like if you just look at what they tried to achieve, I feel like if somebody hadn't told me beforehand this is post-apocalyptic, I would have had a real difficult time getting my head around it being post-apocalyptic.
I thought it was just a bunch of biker gangs in Australia.
Exactly.
With and the weird-looking cars.
The problem with that is there's so much stuff that's still standing. This just feels like it takes place in the Australian countryside, because there are little roads, and those roads look perfectly fine. There's little fences by the roads, and those fences are perfectly fine. There's road signs everywhere, and those road signs are perfectly fine. And all these things are constraints of budget. And they don't go into the city, and they only go into this one little tiny town. And it's a very quiet town, because obviously your budget would only let you actually block off that town.
Yeah.
And I feel like more than almost any film I've seen, I feel the budget in this. And
no, you can't. Yeah, okay, you can feel it, but then you can also respect it.
I can, like I said, I can respect it for what it did and its stunts and everything, but they hurt the narrative by putting the money into those places. I can't fault it, because they made a boat ton of money. In terms of marketing, awesome, but your narrative sucks.
Yeah,
It's cliche to a T. And
it's 1979 though. Was it cliche for back then?
Yes. Yes.
Right, okay.
Look at what we've looked at. This is 20 years after Seven Samurai? Yeah, it's cliche.
Okay. I'm looking forward to the next one. I wasn't massively impressed with this. I feel a bit let down in major parts of this film. I think Mel Gibson, I'd be interested to see for his first performance. Yeah, well played. Don't know how I felt about the Australian accent at times, but it seemed all right for the majority of it.
Do you know there's a really funny American overdub?
Is there?
So they took everybody, and some of the words changed as well to get rid of the Australian slang.
Yeah,
and it's terrible. It's really, really bad dubbing.
Nah, I think you did all right. I'm really keen to see the next one, because
I'm right there with you. I am very, very excited for the next one as well, and I hope it's going to pick up. And then I'm still excited for Fury Road. I am.
Oh, you've not seen Fury Road, have you?
No, I haven't seen any of these. Well, obviously I've seen this one before. Even though
that's good.
I want to watch how George Miller evolves as well, because it's George Miller who directs every single one of these.
This is 10 times the budget of the second's 10 times the budget of the original.
10 times.
Yeah, 4.5 million compared to Australian dollars compared to 400,000. So that's promising. That's very promising.
It is. I want to see what they do with it, and I want to see how they learn as creatives, because fingers crossed. I believe in these guys. They're going to do well. Next week is going to be awesome, and I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, there's Mad Max. You can let us know in the comments below what you think of Mad Max. If you're a massive fan of it, please tell us why. And I want to know when you got into Mad Max, if you are. Were you one of those people who got into Mad Max when it came out in the cinemas, or did you get on board later on? And as we mentioned before, we're back once again next week where we're going to be continuing the Mad Max train with Mad Max 2 Road Warrior.
I just checked there as well. They might have got a few more writers on board.
Good.
By the sounds of it, I know. So
Actually, a few more is a bit concerning, but different writers.
They're 2 new ones, and they took one away.
So we'll see you next week for Mad Max 2 Road Warrior.
Yeah, we go in. We can.
Next week, the full thing.
I can't do it.